Like sometimes, and I don't know how to say this without it's coming out bad, but like our teenage daughters, most of the time, like us. And I know that there's a lot of parents out there that listen to this podcast, like, my kid hates me
Mm.
and I screwed up and I don't know where to start. And I just wonder, like, I find myself challenged to answer that question because it happens a lot.
Can
So
I can I say this to like frame it better for people instead of my kids like me, my kids don't? The frame that I like is we're in a typical relationship with our kids that is very human, which is we have a good time together, we like each other, we're respectful of each other, and then there's challenges occasionally that we have to work through
sure.
because there's been a miscommunication or there has been they feel that they're not, being seen in some way or we're having to, they feel, whatever it may be. We're in a typical relationship with them versus, as to your point, this authoritarian, we're in charge, you either, it's my way or the highway. And that lends itself to having more of, and some people don't like this word, but I'm fine with it with the age my kids are. We have a friendship with our children, right? There is a peer-to-peer kind of thing. I mean, my oldest is 20, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And so I think, Todd, then go into your question about how do we start
Well,
now?
and we were just talking to a friend, and this friend said, "Oh man, I made some big mistakes.
Mm.
Like I prioritized work too much, and now my sons, when they get home, they just want to go in their room, and the door's closed, and they have no interest in engaging with me. And I honestly struggle with my invitation to parents who have those problems is like, just find a thread, just find, and comes from John Duffy. He's like, just find one thing that you could pull on, whether it's games or music, just to engage them a little bit. But that's like where my tools kind of run out to help them, like with something like that they can put into practice right now. And I just wonder if anything pops to your mind when you have parents that ask those questions.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think it's never, never too late. I mean, that's the thing is like the universal skills. And in fact, like in the new book, I was thinking chapter 37, why I want to date my child. I have a chapter called Why I Want to Date My Child. And the thing is, it's like, I like the language of dating, right? Because like, if you're like, you have things are rocky with your partner, maybe your marriage, you're like, everyone's like, have a date night, that kind of thing. And the truth is that a relationship with a kid, it's just like every other relationship. You need to give it time and attention and, be open and vulnerable and, be human and give it that attention that it needs in order to grow. And that's the same. So that whole find a thread is right? It's like find something, like invite your kid. You want to like get to know them, like get into their world and create that connection. Because ultimately, like we know that it's, if we're moving away from using power or power over another human being, then what is it that makes it so it's easy for you and you and you guys, right, and easier for us is for me when my kids are teens? It's because of the connection, right? It's the connection that makes this desire to cooperate and to work out problems and to all of those things, right? So it's like that's everything, right? That has to be cultivated. So yeah, find that thread. And if it has been hurt and damaged and lost, like there may need to be you repair that happens. There's a real wonderful tool that I love for repair that I got from the Plum Village community of Thich Nhat Hanh, and it's called Beginning Anew. And I love this tool because it could be like a letter, it could be a conversation, it could be an email or whatever it is. But this idea of like we have to just be open and vulnerable and say to our kids like that friend of yours, may need to say they were going to do a beginning a new letter. They might say to their kids like, hey, these are all the things I appreciate about you. This is what, I want to see. I see you and in your beauty, right? In these things. And then in the second part, they would share their own regrets and say, hey, this is what I regret. Like, I've worked too much. I miss this. I really regret this. Like, be human and open and vulnerable. And then in the third part, then you might have a chance to talk about any hurts and difficulties that they may have currently in the relationship in a way that's not accusatory. But I love this tool because, like, when you tell someone, this is what I appreciate about you, they're like, oh, you're not just coming to me with a problem and complaining, like you're seeing all of me. And then B, when you tell them share your own regrets and vulnerabilities, they're like, oh, you're being human. Okay, I'll listen to you. And then it opens up the door for this. Then we can talk about whatever difficulties we have in front of us. But I don't think it's ever too late. I taught mindful parenting to a in-person group, low-income group in my area. And there's a grandmother there, and she was like there because she was watching our 6-year-old grandson. But at the end of the whole thing, she's like, things with her grandson are better, great. But she was like in tears. She was so moved. And she said to me how she healed her relationship with her adult daughter using these tools. And I think that's true. Like that can happen. And it gives me goosebumps thinking about it still, because it's like, yeah, it is never too late. Why would you ever say, oh, okay, well, forget it, I give up,
Right.
I'm like, I'm giving up on this. No, there's never too late to turn it around.
Well, and what you just said is what I love about having these discussions about relationships with our partner or our kids is that they're universal. There's nothing that we talk about that is like just for children. I mean, maybe some people can point out, certain things, but for the most part, the humility that you're talking about, the ability to own what is yours, the ability to recognize where you've harmed, where you've hurt, the decision to repair, all that is with everybody. And that's kind of the thing is I feel like there's a lot of people who view relationships or partnerships or, friendships at work or whatever in one way. And they're like, yeah, but I'm different as a parent. And that's always my first question. Why are you a different human with your kids? Like, why do they not know you? Why do they not know the music you like? Why do they not know that you like to dance? Or why do they not know that, that you used to be an artist? Or what are the things about, your life that you're not sharing? And what message did you get, that you're not supposed to? Do you find that with your clients and the people you talk to, that they don't share their true nature with their kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's this feeling of like there's such a pressure that like I have to be perfect, right? Like I want to be perfect for these kids. I don't want to mess up my kids, right? And so that's like we're all like, so many of us are in this like achievement mode. You get the grade, you get the GPA, whatever, you get the job, and then you get to parenting and you're like, okay, I have to win this. I don't want to mess up my kids and give them insecure attachment or avoidant attachment, like horror, like, and that's true. That's like real fear. So, but the thing is that achievement mode, it makes us so anxious, and then we can't like relax and be ourselves. And that's actually, sadly, paradoxically, that's exactly what our kids need, is us to relax and be ourselves and do the things that feed us, rather than just being a blank slate, or like Annie Burnside said, like just a role, right? Like that's that's exactly what our kids need from us, is to be real and authentic and just chill a little.